Ka mkpụrụ obi Patrick na mkpụrụ obi ndị niile kwere nụ gara aga site n'ebere nke Chukwu wee zuru ike na ndokwa. Amen. Before God, we have neither titles nor surnames. At baptism, we become his children. The honor, the Omeje, the Asogwa, God the secondary. And the family of God, the church, God's children are called by their names. I thank Father Anselm Asogwa, who graciously accepted to share with us the reflections this Mass during the homily. Ọbụghị ya na ya mara Patrick Omeje, anyị niile ndị ga anyị niile mara onye ọ bụ. Patrick Omeje was the chairman at the reception that was organized for me at home on the day I celebrated my first Mass. I had no opportunity to explore the relationship between him and my father, but I know that those old teachers had a tie that bound them because they all labored for the upliftment of Nsukka. I also know that my father taught a number of them here at St. Joseph's. But even before I became a priest, his name was constant within church circles. If you are a Nsukka oga ha inu Enugu diocese, adedendo Nsukka ole ananwe ha no ka. Most others were living in Enugu, but Omeje was at home. If you didn't know him, at least you heard his name. I remember once he addressed us as seminarians during the reunion. The then diocesan chancellor, Father Felix Nwatu, introduced him. Then he had been appointed chairman of the Anambra State Electoral Commission. And that time we thought that FEDECO, Federal Electoral Commission, was not doing well. We didn't know they were heroes and saints. But Father Nwatu told us, in the next election in Anambra State, with Patrick Omeje in charge, you will see the difference between FEDECO and Anambra State Electoral Commission. That was Omeje, the Omeje we knew. Even before, as Father Anselm said, we knew him as Federal. The schools then, and changed the name. But that name, University Secondary School or University High School, never stuck. STC, the teacher of chemistry. Federal, Omeje. These were the men and women who reconstructed Igbo land after the disaster of the Civil War. Men and women who had hardly graduated from the university when the war broke out. And after the war, lives to rebuild a state, an area, a region that had been abandoned to its fate by the federal government of Nigeria. This generation is going, as Father said at the homily. They received the faith and Western education from the missionaries their fathers did and handed over to them. Some of them, after the war, continued teaching without salary. My father was a teacher. I was sent home from the primary school because we didn't pay school. My father had no money. But they never missed lessons for one day. They lost everything they had at war except their dignity and integrity. And that was enough for them. These men couldn't even afford the luxury of proper suits. And they resorted to the safari suit without ties. And when that was no longer able to maintain, they removed the collars and called it Biafran suit and dressed elegantly with shoes without stockings. They couldn't afford the luxury of stockings and ties and cufflinks. But they worked. Those Biafran suits are the ancestors of the modern senator. So all those senators or those wearing their dress, senators who receive hundreds of millions as clothing allowance, and they have smelling and sweating feet, and they are wearing shoes without stockings, should know that those who did it first couldn't afford stockings. That is how we repeat tradition. And we don't know what caused our ancestors to do what they did. This is Omeje. Every single day here. I will not say much. If I had wanted to say much, I would have elected to preach the homily. But I was also afraid I could become emotional because this generation is going. The southeastern region that they constructed, were reconstructed with their sweat, after 10 years had become the envy of Nigeria. And now, those who inherited this region from them, their sons, grandsons, their successors have destroyed this same area through violence and greed. Father said, I said yesterday that materialism has taken over the church. No, has destroyed the church. I have been shouting for 10 years. Abracadabra alila nemekpo ya charismatism and Pentecostalism is destroying Christianity from its roots. And the young people have discovered that and dumped all of us in the dustbin and gone back. But they have no traditional religion to inherit anymore. They have invented their own intolerant, aggressive fetishism. These people are all going. One day, he came to me to plead about this beautiful road. Ajemaga. Neyana ekwaga aga hetekpote me abeja no morning mass. Ni ha arre na etiti ụzọ a na-ekwe enyi gete. Sia Omeje, I have talked to all those government, professionals, technicians, to do something about the entrance to the cathedral. They didn't listen to me. As often they don't. I went back and put pressure. Nka egbuburu kita. The guy just created a passage for pedestrians by a result of the pressure I put on them. Kenda de Omeje nweke bia mass. Ababi just see I nyigde crossing ar. Tomochi genyikoti. Similarly, he came to me almost in tears about the crisis of our law. And for 10 years, we have been working assiduously to solve that problem. Aburu neba anyi uduledem. Asine Patrick Omeje ganomana kamha. He's now on the side of righteousness. He knows the efforts we have made, both of us and others. And in spite of the calumny, in spite of the distraction, we accompany him with our prayers so that when he arrives, he will help us with his own prayers to solve our problem. It will not be solved by bullying or by calumny. As they go, let us ask ourselves serious questions about what we are doing to continue what they suffered and labored for. The night they claim to know. I'm happy I'm on sign on no man or here. These were the people under the watchful eyes of Father Tadeo Onoima, who introduced the knighthood of St. John's International and their lady Nigeria from Enugu. And they did everything possible to make this order a means of people who wanted to come nearer to God and serve God, church, society. Before, some people who had other intentions and backgrounds, I don't know whether I should say entered or infiltrated your order and have done nothing but cause crisis for you. One of you sitting here, or some, nearly wept in my presence while he was describing the pain caused by the last crisis by greedy persons. Purify your order. These men obtained this uniform you are wearing at great cost and sacrifice. Ando ka Nsukka sadu idekar mona. Gada no no one by one. Maran and the horror. I thank the family that they at least remember that their father, by his prayers. I won't tell you what your mother told me when he came to my office, when your brother was appointed or he was elected to run Nsukka local government. But any of you, Jehueruzo, won't blame these two people. You can't. It's left for you to continue that tradition. I know you are trying. And it is not just in the area of education, in the area of church, religion, community. And I'm ending with that. Because the church is about integral human development. That the only structured industrialist and entrepreneur, Nsukka, son of Paddy, Bungwa Patrick Omeje, Mobugi Amrianeho, no mentorship, Oshe Harmona. But because of the mentorship, support, he became son of Paddy, Tenta. Some have written their names in several books. You write your name here and write your name the other place. God does not struggle. He already knows that he owns you, but you are free to walk away. Keep your name alive in the book of life, and you will remain alive. Kampurubi Patrick, Nampurubi Ndini Nekwarono Garaga.